North Shore in the house. What's up, Courtney?
What up? What up?
How we doing?
I'm doing good. Sterling gave me shit because I had to put my thoughts on paper.
So tell us lessons learned in 2023 and what are we doing different in 2024?
So as a creative real estate investor, I am busier than I've ever been in nearly the last 10 years right now. So 2023 has been quite a year for me. So I did write down my thoughts so I can get them down here and also be conscious of time.
Okay.
So one of the things is just the concept that creative financing. So to give you an idea, if you don't know me already, you can watch the video on the YouTube channel. I buy a lot of stuff with creative financing that's utilizing the seller or their existing financing, usually for rentals, or I'm selling the stuff on terms. So like rent to own, stuff like that. Creative financing has allowed me to legally and ethically manipulate the market. So when everyone was crying about 8%, I was out there buying properties subject to a 3% loan or buying a seller finance deal at 0% interest, right? So when the market really crunched, all I had to do was up my skills to utilize. I'm done already?
Time. Time.
So it's the idea that the skill sets that I have been able to use have allowed me to overcome what really stopped people in their tracks in the market, right? So really just seeing, it allowed me to take the market and take those pain points really out of being a pain point for myself. So obviously creative financing is king right now. Multiple people mentioned it, but you have to learn how to do it safely and correctly. The number one phone call I am getting right now is investor rescue phone calls. I lost count how many I've had this week. Also because I just got back in town, so I don't know what day it is. But no, seriously. People who flips have gone wrong, Airbnb issues, bought a property, doing Airbnb, had aggressive financing with it, things changed with that, now they're stuck. Have people who were attempting to do the Burr method, now the numbers don't work when they go to do the refinance, or they structured a creative deal and they can no longer handle making the payments because it's sitting longer to rent, or it is they didn't structure it correctly and they're just drowning right now, and their ability to keep swimming, to your point, Steve, is just not happening. I am getting so many of those that I don't know how to wrap my head around it to a degree where I say, I truly want to help. But what's also difficult in 2023 is I had to learn to say no to people. Historically, I've been the type of person where I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what I can't do, I'll tell you what I will do, right? And let me make you my creative offer. I've been able to make a lot of deals work in our market that a lot of other investors can't, between my work with title issues and then structuring things creatively. I've had to get okay with telling people no. And not forcing a deal. Partnering with Steve has helped me because I like the chess of solving a deal. I like taking something and saying, okay, how can I do it? But I've had to learn to not force deals, because when you force a deal, when you agree to give up doing a great deal by just doing a good deal where the numbers are marginal, when something happens, interest rates, property taxes, insurance rates, the market slows down, whatever, your great deal goes to good deal. But if you took a marginal deal, it goes from good to bad. And those are those investor rescues that we're seeing. And so that's also something to be very careful. You don't want to get into marginal deals right now. So cash flow has been my defense. Money in the bank, straight up, money in the bank. You've heard me share before that I use other people's money to acquire properties. And I've said it that the money in-house, the profit and the cash flow that the rentals make has been my defense. More than ever, that is allowing me to stay in this game. Bless you. Your team, 2023 taught me that you and your team have to have skills. Point blank. If your team doesn't have real skills, you're going to find out real quick. So it goes back to a great quote that says, no plan, no matter how well thought out, doesn't survive first contact with your enemy. What does that mean? You can have a really great plan, but when shit hits the fan, how is it going to hold up? And that is what we're finding in this market right now, is a lot of people had great plans, or as someone else put it, we had a lot of spreadsheet people who the numbers looked good on paper, but when the market came to bear the real fruit of what was going on, it doesn't look so great. So I do think if I were to give 2023 a word, it would be the wartime generals came out to play. And the peacetime generals, they had to sit down. What does that mean? The people who know how to get stuff done, or who, as Mike Tyson said, you have a plan until you get punched in the face. Well, what do? Do you stop fighting? Or did you, put a tampon in your nose and keep going? I'm like, what do you do? Right? Y'all are so gonna cut that up and put that on here. Whatever. But it's that idea, right? How many people got beat up during this, 2023 with something? A deal didn't go as planned. Well, what are you doing? Are you sitting on the side, or are you quickly readjusting, getting the troops engaged and going back out to combat the enemy, or, a tough market? So that's 2023. I want to be my lesson from 2023 is I want to continue to be a good wartime general. When things are tough, I want to know how to pivot quickly and how to be able to handle myself in a way that I can play both defense and offense. So my focus for 2024, historically, past 10 years, I bought 60% of my deals with private money, 40% with creative financing. Last year, I bought 80% of my deals with creative financing, so subject to seller financing, and 20% with private money. I think next year I'm going to go 90% creative financing, 10% private money. Continuing to offset the difficulties in the market by having the sellers, through buying subject to their existing loan or buying with terms with seller financing, just to continue to manipulate the market, but bring in some responsibility, continue to have the sellers share in the risk for the market with me. The reason why that is, I don't believe the pain is done. Very specifically for Louisiana, 2024 is a quadrennial property tax assessment. Orleans is the only one that does it in advance, and we saw that earlier in July when the tax rolls were open and everyone was wailing and crying. Every other parish is going to get that next year, and I think that the pain is not done. I think that there's still more pain. So what am I going to do? I'm going to I'm very focused. I've said no to a lot of things, more announcements to come, but I've been saying no to a lot of things in my life recently, because now is the time for me to go to work. With my skill sets, now is the time for me to feast. And so, and I don't think it's done. I don't think that we're trending out of it. I do think we still have some more wading to go in the water. So I'm focusing on having cash flow from other sources. Earlier this year, right after the summer, I brought on another partner, and we're focusing on buying land and selling it on terms, and buying land with mobile homes, selling that on terms, basically notes and other type of things like that, lot rent and stuff like that. Why? Because that is cash flow that doesn't demand a lot. You want to know how many ACs I've been in properties this summer, or because roofs I had to replace that I didn't have to because of insurance? What do I need? I need cash flow from other sources that don't demand a lot, but they take one for the team and they keep the rest of the boat afloat. Right now, 2024, I just ironed out my goals for the year. For those who know, part of my plan is I have what's called a legacy portfolio. These are the nicer houses, 250 to 350 ARV, 1990 newer, in the nice houses in nice neighborhoods. I am buying them very aggressively because right now they're on sale, and they're not often on sale. I literally have 18 leads on my board at home right now for these nicer houses in nicer neighborhoods that I can buy subject to, or it's seller financing or something like that. So I'm busier than ever. So again, it's coming back down to that focus. Will I get them all? No. But if I can get a few, now is the time for me to really build out that legacy portfolio. So I'm doing that through strong relationships and a strong brand, and I'm quadrupling down on that in 2024. I'm going to launch my podcast and my YouTube channel. I'm tripling down on that because that is truly 95% of my deals come from other people, right? So I'm tripling down on what has worked. Last thing I'll say is this, I usually read 40 to 60 books a year. In 2024, I'm not allowing myself to read anything other than one of my top 5 mentors is a guy by the name of Jack Miller. He's no longer alive. Most of you probably don't know him. But he's one of my 5 mentors. All 4 of the others have been mentored by him, right? From October of 1978 until when he died in 2009, he wrote a newsletter every month. So every single month, it was like a 6-page newsletter. I have almost all of them, and I want to read through them. 1, because I want to continue to study cycles, but number 2, I want to study what someone has to become as a creative investor, because he wrote as a creative investor in the single-family space. Who do you have to become when times change? That wartime general is what I'm talking about. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm telling my ass to sit down and read them, because I've been reading here and there, but I want to go through them. So that's my main focus. Some of my main focuses for 2024. You guys can follow along. Go to CourtneyFricke.com. They have my Instagram on there. My goal is to document it along the way, but head down, eyes focused, and that's really where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, Courtney, and I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I'm still stuck on tampon in the nose.
I knew it.
I didn't even stop thinking about it. So
that's the only question with that.
Courtney Fricke, everybody.